Hello and welcome everyone to the Electronic Gaming Mostly podcast. I'm Seeker127,
Hey,
and
it's
that's
me.
Gabler.
Is that who that is?
His
Nah, it's a
name. I'm looking for a new name, by the way. So,
yeah. I still am a fan of the Vapist, the Grapist. I know they're all taken, but whatever. Still a fan of those. Vanilla Mike is still pretty good. People can call you Mike.
I'm pretty sure that's taken too. All the good ones are
You
taken. So I'm at a loss.
Battlefield Randy. How about that? Just give yourself a different name.
Big Toe Joe.
Big Toe Joe. There you go. That'd be hilarious because people would be like, "How'd you get that name?" It's like, "Well, my name's not Joe." Big
It
Toe
rhymes with
Joe.
Big Toe. I'm just really into toes. Not in a weird way. I like that I can keep my balance when I walk. I'm really a big fan of that aspect.
You could be Colin. You
Monty
know,
Montgomery.
Monty Montgomery. That's a good one. Monty from Montana.
You already have a Monty though. That'll be really
Yeah,
confusing.
no. Confusing.
Well,
Mike the Dyke. I'm sorry.
look,
He's getting into like
every
mafia names and shit.
every male looks like a butch lesbian.
Bailey
Think
Bag
about
of
it.
Donuts. Maybe you do Mikey Bag of Donuts or something like that. You know?
I don't know. There's a lot of nitpicky shit. Like I want it to be short enough to remember.
Murder Mike. Man.
Well, someone might actually murder me the way things are going.
Oh yeah. Sure.
Doc's getting shot at. I mean, come on.
Apparently that was a pellet gun.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine then.
Well, it's still not fine. I'm just saying, like, they weren't shooting fucking bullets into his house.
Well, last week we didn't have a podcast because I didn't have internet. You know, we had a hurricane about 3 hours away, 4 hours away. And so that
Yeah.
means that the weakest link is going to drop first. Kept power, kept
Oh,
water,
Seeker. Weakest link.
no internet. Spectrum dropped. So,
There's a good name. Weakest link. Right? And it's like Link from Zelda. Yeah.
yeah, but
Weakest link.
I don't even. I don't even support Nintendo. Like, yeah, I would love to play Breath of the Wild, but I'm not gonna
No, I mean
spend
like
four hundred
that's your name.
dollars.
The name you go off the name Link, but then like all your motifs are like chains or something. I don't know.
That's weird. Well, you know, work in progress. I'm not gonna change it until I find the perfect one. So, for now, I'm still Seeker 127. Some idiot out there with no streaming has already taken my name, Seeker.
Well, this is all because somebody convinced you that a name with numbers in it is like not good for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, go look at
All
any
you
of the
gotta
top
do is
streamers on Twitch. None of them have numbers.
listen. All you gotta do is start saying, "My name is Seeker." Yeah, like it's not 127. It's a R and a T. It's Seeker.
No.
There's plenty of people that have pretty good followings and numbers, and they have numbers in their name. I mean, certainly they're not lyric or whatever, but you know, there are people out there.
Like, it's going to have to get changed eventually. I'd rather do it now. It only gets more difficult. And now I don't have to fucking start a new account.
Like Zombie Unicorn 80085. Okay, I'm sorry.
Anyway, yeah, so there was a hurricane. My internet went out for a day. And then by the time we were like, hey, let's make up that podcast, it was already closer to today than, you know, any other day. So here we are. This is episode 4, week 5. What have we been
Forever
doing for
changed.
2 weeks? World of Warcraft.
We'll just catch it up one day. We'll just do two of them on a Sunday. Episode 5, week 5. I can get it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, World of Warcraft.
We
Fucking
played the
Divinity.
Black Ops 4 Blackout Beta.
Blops 4, as idiots call it.
Yeah.
God, that was so good.
Magica 1 and 2. A little bit.
Yeah.
Wasn't a great experience.
Yeah.
And What was that other game? Oh yeah, Divinity Original Sin 2 Enhanced Edition, which is still
Divinity.
fun, but I don't know if the game's kind of broken or if the mods are breaking it or what. But
It's all over the place.
still fun. I went from an elementalist character my last playthrough to straight up two-hander skullcracker. That's been fun.
Hmm.
So I guess we'll just get started with WoW. I've been getting more into it. It's not such a chore to like wanna play it, but it's still not great. I switched from arcane to fire for about an hour. Now that I have better gear, it still sucks. It's terrible. If the fight lasts longer than 15 seconds, you all everything's on cooldown. I changed some talents up. People are still stupid, you know. I switched to flame patch, so when I do flame strike, it leaves an AOE shit on the ground, and nobody knows what that is, so they just pull enemies out of it because it's like, don't stand in fire. Like, no, that's my fire. Stand in the fire. So I switched to frost. It's been going okay. I still got to commit to another class and stick with it long enough to get to where my mage is. That's really the only reason I keep playing mage is because it's the highest leveled. But you know, there will be a lull. There's no new content, kind of like right now, because Warfront's kind of done with the Warfront. I mean, I got 3 pieces of gear that I could potentially get that would be upgrades, but I don't want to run Warfronts that much, so I keep getting duplicates.
Yeah. It's really rough. You do a war front and it shouldn't take 15 to 20 minutes, but it does because you have a lot of mouth breathers that are in there and they're just off pushing up the middle when they don't like you don't even have siege tanks and they're just pushing up and capturing the middle. It's just a waste of time instead of going around gathering resources. I know that resources are technically limited, but one of the most difficult things to get is iron. Honestly, most people should just be in the mines, filling up to 200 and heading back to base and dumping it in all the buildings and upgrades.
You know,
If
the
you had
problem is not
everybody
everyone
doing
can do
that,
that because
yeah, you
otherwise there'd be
can.
too many
Well,
people just running around without
no,
anything to pick on.
because you just kill the kobolds for it, and the kobolds drop that shit, and everybody can loot it to some degree. If everybody just spent time in them, I mean, not a whole. Obviously, you have to have some people defending. So you just have people bouncing between the mine and the lumber yard back and forth, filling up what they need. The whole like pushing down the middle before you even have siege tanks makes no sense.
Yeah.
I can understand capturing the first little point, that crossway there, because you know when the siege tanks comes out, you don't want to have to like race against it because they want to head to a location. But I don't get it that you go in and it's like 15 minutes long because you have 5 to 6, maybe 10 people of
I
the
mean, it's longer
majority of
than
people there.
that.
Just
It's longer than
it's
15 to
it,
20
you
minutes
can't, yeah.
usually. Because
Oh,
I mean, here's my strategy. Because I know people are just going to go fight shit. I just run straight to the mill, kill the guy, pick up the axe, load up on wood, go and deposit it. And then I pretty much just go back and forth from the mine getting iron and back to the place, the main place, and just contribute it until everything's upgraded and we get to the end and everyone has siege stuff. And then I get my
my
buff
point.
from the church and I get my 2 knights and we break through the door. And
The
that's
it
it.
doesn't have to be that long though. Is my point. Like I feel like if people would just be, if everybody would be bouncing between mine and lumber, then it would speed up the process pretty seriously.
Well, Blizzard does a really bad job of explaining what to do and when.
Yeah, I don't feel like you need explanation. It seems like just common sense shit. I think it's just
I mean,
mouth
it took me
breathers.
like
They get in
five
there
or
and they're like,
six
I'm
rounds of
gonna
that.
kill NPCs.
It took me like 5 or 6 rounds to actually figure out how everything worked. Like what
Oh,
what you need to upgrade to get the other upgrade. Like you got to put points in a lake that siege tower place in order to upgrade your keep to a castle or some shit. So it's time consuming. The only good thing is you're guaranteed a piece of 340 gear, but you know, once the more 340 gear you get, the lower the chance of you getting a piece you actually need. Like I still need feet and a trinket and a ring, and I don't know if I'll ever get it. And it's just so fucking monotonous.
it is. There's no system in play. Like you, I don't. I've run it probably. God, I just want to be fair here, 12 times or something like that on my Demon Hunter, who granted already has like mostly is I'm already item level 342. Most of my pieces are, I only need like 3 pieces or something. 12 times I've never gotten an upgrade except for once, which was like a 10-point upgrade. Ran it on the Warlock 3 times yesterday, got 1 upgrade. So the rate at the upgrading is very similar to raids. It's kind of like the world quest thing for the
Well,
world
I mean, you
boss.
can do it solo, so that's good. I mean, you won't
Yeah,
be solo once you get in there, but there's really no reason to communicate or coordinate or anything.
yeah,
So I'm a fan of
that's
that.
good.
But just
They
the
also
the
didn't make
rate
it a
at which you get
PvP
gear.
thing, which is great.
Well, it's in your best interest to like spam that shit so you get all 340 gear. But by doing that, because it takes so long, you're missing out on a lot of Azurite power. You're missing
Yeah.
out on a lot of reputation gains that you could be getting from doing other things. So, but the fucked up part is like all that other stuff, the Azurite power and the reputation gains. Like the end goal of that is still just to get more gear.
Yep.
So I'm kind of curious to see what happens during the next Warfront. Is it still going to drop 340 gear, or is it going to drop higher gear? Because if it
Yeah,
drops
that's the big
340,
question,
why
right?
the fuck would anyone do it?
Yeah.
You do it once for your 370 piece, and that's it.
Well, there be people that want to do it for the transmog of the visual set that drops from there, but the only other thing I can imagine would be people that didn't get filled with 340 gear in the process of the first one. We don't even know if there's going to be a delay. I mean, Blizzard, this is Blizzard. They just got a lot of flack for not really communicating to people, and the way they're talking about this next Warfront is that it's going to drop next week, like Thursday, maybe. Like, isn't that when that ends for us? Or
Yeah,
maybe there's a
no, I
delay till
think it's
Tuesday.
Tuesday or Wednesday before ours is done, and then I don't know what. It
But
is interesting though that like the alliance, I don't know, is it server wide or is it just across the board? Your contributions.
it's across the board.
Yeah, alliance like turned in their shit way faster than the horde did.
Oh yeah, there's more of us in terms of overall. Like, more people play Alliance than Horde.
Like what was it? 3 days before,
It
like
was like 3 days. It took the Horde 6 days. It took us 3 days,
yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
But still, I mean, it's the whole system's kind of bullshit. It's almost like they made this whole cycle system and gave you that week in between where you can't do anything because they know there's not enough to keep you going if you were able to do it all the time.
Yeah.
So how do you get people to actually play it? Well, you take 4 weeks and make it only available for 1 week.
Yep. And you're starting up. The next one is going to be Darkshore, and the Alliance start with the ability to contribute first. So our first week of that is going to be just contribution,
Yeah,
which isn't terrible.
and killing rares and hoping to get lucky.
No, that's Horde that's killing rares. We're contributing the first week, and then
Right.
as soon as we're done contributing, we get access to the Warfront before the Horde does. So it's kind of the opposite of Arathi this time around.
Yeah, so Warfronts, as expected, are pretty underwhelming. The rewards are pretty good, but
It needs work. It's like the island expeditions. I like them. I like the ideal of them. They're tedious though, and the rewards aren't good enough. And I'm not
the
saying like
rewards are Azurite power. That's it.
I'm not saying that that's not good enough. I'm not saying that the rewards from Warfronts are bad. I'm just saying like it's not good in the sense that you go through this long process and then you get 340 gear. Like, you can go through a mythic way quicker and
Yeah,
get
you're just not
drops off
guaranteed to do it.
bosses.
You're not guaranteed
Yeah.
to get 340 gear, and
It's not a guarantee, you're right,
and
but
they lock after the first time.
you have an opportunity to gain from each boss a piece of gear and from the last boss. I think you're guaranteed on the last boss for mythics.
Yeah, and the worst part about Mythics is that you actually have to go in and find a group. You can't just do a group finder
You
for
could
it.
have your own competent group of people. I think that's the best part, because
Oh yeah,
the
but
Warfronts, you're dealing with people that just don't listen or don't care. Or
we
whatever.
only have 4 on a good day. That's if Billy feels like doing Mythics. We haven't even done Mythics yet.
That's just our own situation, though. I'm just talking about on like across the board on the scale of what's better. I just think that there needs to be some system in this game where they don't give you the same damn piece of gear all the goddamn time. I mean, is that so much to ask for? Like some kind of security system? So I'm not picking, like they did it with legendaries. Like,
Yeah.
can I just get that with regular fucking gear? Like, how many times in a row am I going to get a pair of boots?
No, they want you to keep playing and grinding stuff out. Like we talked about this before. It's fundamental problem with Blizzard's philosophy on the game. They want you to grind out and trudge through this tedious, boring bullshit just to maybe get a small chance at gear that you can use. So just so you could do the same fucking content but easier. But now it's even worse because everything scales to your item level. So really things don't get much easier.
Yeah, I was going to say that's their big problem is the whole item level scale concept. Because if you look at a game like PUBG or Fortnite, the reason why people, or even Black Ops 4, which is great, the reason why people play those games over and over is because it's fun to shoot somebody and they die. In World of Warcraft, it's just you do the same content that you've done 100 times, but it never gets easier. You never get godlike, especially now. Used to be if you did mythic raids, you'd become godlike, and they were just like, no, we got to stop that.
And we'll go back to Suramar after you've done, you know, after you get your item level up to whatever it was after, what was the place called? Argus. After you get all the Argus gear and all that, go back to Suramar. You like one or two shot shit. Felt great.
Yeah, and that's fun. It's great. That's what the game's supposed to be like. It feels great when you do that. I don't understand Blizzard's mentality. Like like enjoys going back and like this is a game where the player base enjoys ganking. They love the concept of going back and doing old raid content by themselves to get transmog gear. And it feels really great when you pull an entire group of people do it already at in-game content. They love pulling entire groups of mobs and just AoEing them down and watching the numbers pop up. It's really fucking great. So of course they want to do that with older content, but you can't do that. Now, I was a critic of the system when they first put it in place in Legion, where when you level up, the zone levels up with you. So if I went through all of Azuna and I go to whatever Stormheim and I'm questing there and a friend logs on and they're still in Azuna and I go to help them, the shit's just as difficult for me as it was in the beginning. Now, I can understand the concept behind that, but it really, once I finish the zones, they should really pop down to the base level. There's no reason for them to be the same level. And I know Blizzard's like, well, we want you to do World Quest. Well, you can change the World Quest mobs. I know you can. I know you can have the World Quest targets be like a thing. But it caused problems. Obviously, it's not an issue now, but it caused problems in Legion where, like, if you were on a PvP server, you were in a zone and everybody that was there that was 110 could see you. There was no phasing. That's one of the big issues. And now they've scaled it off item level. I was okay with it scaling off of level. Like, I could get past that. Like, okay, at least when you get max level, you can get your item level up and stuff dies easier. And that was the case in Legion. You could go back to the Broken Shore after you had completed Argus, and you could kill rares there that you normally wouldn't be able to take by yourself back when Broken Shore was new. You could do all of that stuff. So if you don't have a group or you came to the game late and Argus was already out, or you just maybe took a break or whatever, you could go into Argus, do all that shit, come out, and then go to Broken Shore and work on getting your mount without the help of anyone. And that's great. That's a great concept to the game. And that's not even going back another expansion. That's literally a patch before. Yeah. But now they have this stupid item level scaling that makes it way fucking worse. Like, I should, at this point, 340 item level, I should be obliterating things in World Quests. I don't want a challenge. If I want a challenge, I'll do Mythic raiding or Mythic plus dungeons. That's what those are there for, Ian. If you want a Mythic challenge or you want difficult challenges, Mythics are there for you, right? Where the fuck is that shit at? No, we got to make everything relative. I don't want your content to be... So that kind of mentality is going to, I guarantee you that kind of mentality is going to lead them down fucking paths of like, hey guys, everything scales now. So when you go back to Molten Core, it's difficult. You got to take a 40-man raid. I sure they won't do that, but like, I don't put it past them for a second to start doing that with dungeons. Let's just recycle our old dungeons, guys. They already do it with time walking to some degree. It's just
Yeah, and it feels like
fucking
shit when you
dumb.
go back.
It does feel like shit because they scale you down instead of scaling it up so that you can group up with fucking randos that are leveling up. So
Yeah.
terrible, man.
There's
Just don't scale
way
it.
better solutions. Like, I just don't get, with all the money they make and all the people they have and all the time they had to fucking make this expansion, I expected a lot more. A
I
lot
agree.
more refinement.
Just the last thing on the scaling, like if you look back to time walking, you can see how it's a bad system. It needs to. It's very simple, and here's my resume, Blizzard. Okay, it needs to be based off level, not gear. 100%, always only level. Gear should always be what propels you beyond. Like if I go into a time walking dungeon as a 120 fresh, it should be difficult. But if I go into a time walking dungeon as a 120 that's 340 item level, it shouldn't be that difficult. You're talking about back in Legion, on my Demon Hunter tank, I could solo fucking Karazhan, Mythic Karazhan. I could solo that shit to farm the mount. But then if I went into like a time walking Wrath of the Lich King, I'm getting my fucking ass kicked. It doesn't feel good. It's terrible. I hated fucking time walking because of that. And you don't want that, Blizzard.
Well, I
You don't
hated
want
it
your
even
player
more.
base hating it. Yeah,
I was playing a fire mage, so everything's relying on crit. So all of a sudden, I'm like, wow, this spec feels like shit in time walking.
You have no critical.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's like you shouldn't fuck with gear scaling.
They can't even do it right. I mean, maybe if they had the system perfected, sure, but I mean, they
do it
can't.
right now. There's the guy that went into PvP recently and took off most of his gear. He's like a 370 item level paladin that raids mythic, and he took off all of his gear. Well, he put some green pieces on that brought himself down to like 290 item level, and went into a battleground and just decimated people. He did like 2,000 more damage than the guy below him.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy, because the system is broken. It doesn't work. Abort, Blizzard. Abort now before you continue to try and this bullshit through the rest of the goddamn expansion. All you're going to do is turn this into another goddamn Warlords of Draenor if you don't abort that bullshit now. It was fine in Legion. There. Leave it alone. I don't even... how many people, like, fucking let me know. How many fucking people that played World of Warcraft actually experienced going out and doing world quests and just one-shotting shit all the time constantly, and it wasn't fun for them? Like, you're literally talking about the smallest percent of the player base, the people who do mythic raiding, is why they made this fucking change. Because those guys would go out and they'd fire blast a target and it would die, and then their excuses,
but it doesn't matter.
We don't want somebody that's like not a mythic raider being. Their excuse is, we don't want somebody like Seeker, who's not a mythic raider, out in the world quest and he's charging up a fireball and then suddenly a mob just dies because some mythic raider came through. Tough titties. That's how it works.
Yeah, it
you know how
really
small
matter.
the percent of the population is of mythic raiders? How many fucking times is he really going to run into that? Like, can you give me some anecdotal evidence? How many fucking times did you run into that? Hardly ever at all.
But I mean,
by the way, they already have a system where everything can be shared. They could even do it between factions. I know, because it works for rares. If you go tag a rare, a horde player can come and fight the rare. But if the horde player tags a regular mob, that doesn't count for you anymore for some fucking stupid reason. How about you work on that system instead of this fucking scaling bullshit?
Yeah. No, but the thing is like with Legion, the world quests were difficult when they actually offered rewards that you wanted. After you get to a certain item level and you don't need to do world quests, but you still want to do the emissaries for maybe at a chance at a legendary that you're not necessarily going to use, but, whatever, why not go for it? It's a lot quicker. Now, though, when people start getting to high item level and there's nothing that they want from world quests, they're just not going to do world quests.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no reason to go back and do them past item level 325.
Like, give me what I might need.
Well, in terms of gear, but like eventually people are going to have their Azerite up. They're going to have, all the reputation maxed out. So what's the fucking point? And the emissaries that used to give you gear or legendaries and stuff, now all they give you basically is artifact power. Every now and then they'll give you a good piece of gear.
They need to get rid of the artifact power, the gold, and the war resources from the emissaries. The emissaries should only reward item level gear that is higher than what you're wearing. always.
Yeah, and why the fuck was
Or
World
just current
Quest
tier, like 340 or whatever.
World Quest and Legion were given like 200 gold, 150 gold. Now they're given like 70.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck?
It's them trying to arbitrarily scale down the market economy. They scaled back damage numbers and they think they can scale back gold acquisition as well. It's fucking stupid. Meanwhile, they put a mount in the game that costs 4 million gold. They're assholes. They're idiots and assholes. It's like fucking Spaceballs, the video game company.
So yeah, I mean, I really wish there was a spec that I could fucking play that I knew that I would like and make this all enjoyable, but I don't know if there is.
So I play fucking flavor of the month, man.
Yeah, but then I have
Warrior
to
or
level up
hunter.
through shit. Warrior's about to get nerfed.
Healer's pretty good though because like the great thing about healer is nobody cares about your healing meters. Nobody cares about where as long as people aren't dying, you know. People might fuck with you and give you shit, but nobody. Plus, healers are like one of the most desired classes in any situation, more so than tank. There's always desired in raids. Raids have the hardest time finding healers than they do tanks and DPS. So
Yep. I just
my
gotta
my
fucking level
theory
up
on it,
priest.
my theory on it is if you're gonna play a healer, you're gonna want to play shaman or paladin because at least then you have viable DPS specs. Whereas with priest, you're pigeonholed into shadow if you want to do DPS, and that spec sucks at.
Yep.
It's just not fun. Certainly, priests are some of the best healers, but paladins and shaman are just as good.
Thing is I got a priest at like 111 or something, and my paladin's
Yeah.
still 87. So
Well, we'll work on that on stream. We'll get them up there. We'll run dungeons. Fucking time walking. They'll come around soon. We'll just fucking grind our teeth against that. Yay!
it'll only
I think
take forever.
I think I have somebody that can tank at that level. So fuck around with
So that's all
it.
for WoW, I guess. It's still a clusterfuck. People are bitching louder than ever on the forums and stuff
We'll
about
probably be
everything.
talking about it for the next couple
Well,
of
they
weeks.
keep fucking
'Cause,
up.
yeah,
Like they
that's
keep
what I mean.
saying like don't worry, things are going to be great soon, and then it's just lack of communication. They put something out that's fucks someone over. Classes are broken. I don't think there's anyone out there that's like, wow, my class feels really fun to play right now.
And hey, if you want some circle jerking and you like to hear people complain about WoW, just come around to the stream every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah,
You know,
we'll be there
because
for you. If you
they
want
open
bitching
up.
about the game, Seeker and
It's there.
Gabler are here for you.
Yeah, and secret gambler there for you. Just it's the beginning of every stream. As soon as I'm reminded that I got to play World of Warcraft today. All right, well, you
Yeah,
know,
it's a shame. It's a damn shame. And I don't know. I wish there was another MMO that we could switch to that, is equally as popular. But
I mean, Final
not really.
Fantasy's fine, but you got to go through all that story shit. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what Blizzard does in the first patch. See if they make up for it.
Yeah, I mean, there's always the option of before we get Black
Coming
Ops
back later.
4, selling my account for like $2,000.
Well, I'm not going to do that, but I'll certainly stop for a while. I mean, I intend to see World of Warcraft through to the end, but I'm not against stopping my subscription for a couple months while I play something else
Yeah,
until they
that's why I
fix
don't.
their fucking shit.
That's why I pay monthly instead of committing to 6 months for a fucking
Yeah,
mount. What a
fucking
bunch of
idiots.
bullshit. Not even a
All
good
right.
mount.
It's not even a good mount. And I see people on it all the time, and it just angers the fuck out of me. Like, these are the people that are the problem. Hitler was right. Not against Jews, just some people. Some shit.
The WoW community.
The WoW community. All right, okay. Let's move on from WoW. Fuck WoW.
All right. Well, after we bitched about the Battlefield 5 beta 2 weeks ago, they are going to change some things. Not enough, in my opinion, but some things.
It wasn't really a beta. It was like a demo.
Well, all right. So here are some of the changes. One of the things we bitched about was that you don't start with enough ammo.
Yeah.
They're changing that.
Yeah, of course, because most people probably complained about that. It's very fucking annoying to just have to run to ammo all the time.
Yeah,
I
so you're going
like
to
that there's
be
ammo on the field, but
well. They're taking some of that away and giving you more ammo to start with, but you can still build ammo caches and stuff. I don't know if that's going to be limited to just one class or if any class can do that, but
well, I don't like that if that's the case. I want less dependence on support running up and throwing fucking ammo at me. I get that it's a class-based game to some degree, but they keep moving further away from that. So as they move further away from that, they got to compensate. And I liked the ammo being scattered around the map. I just thought that you should start with another magazine or something of ammo. I'm not, we're not asking for fucking full fucking ammo.
yeah. I mean, especially with that assault rifle, you get 3 mags, one already loaded. So good luck, you know. And
It's
since
very
they're
arbitrary too, because the reason they're doing it is they you have in Battlefield like these battles that happen on these large scales where one side's shooting the other side and there's just bullets flying everywhere. And they want to tone that down for some reason and have it to where people have to consider resupply. And the purpose of that isn't necessarily to stop those battles in their mind. It's to put more emphasis on capturing and holding locations, right? Like holding a location, when you capture a location, you have access to the ammo. I mean, you can still go get the ammo, but it's an enemy territory now. So, but what I don't think what they realize what's going to happen is you're just going to have these large scale battles like before, and then you're just going to have people cycling out to get ammo. Not like they're going to be doing it on purpose. It's just going to be a process of like, well, we gained ground on these guys because they had to go back and get ammo, which isn't realistic at all. That's not how war works. They don't fall back to get ammo. Somebody brings ammo to them.
yeah, I think the better strategy would be just I'm out of ammo, switch to pistol, run in and die. Because at least
I
then you
do
get to
like that you can
respawn.
throw ammo to people. That's a cool mechanic, but like they need to emphasize on that a little more. You need to be able to build ammo things anywhere. So like that needs to be the support class. Like everybody can get their own ammo from a bag at a base or from an ammo cache at a base, but a support class can, he can throw ammo packs at people, or he can later get an ammo bag he puts on the ground, or he can like later on even build like an ammo cache just any fucking where, and he can build one of them, and when he rebuilds it somewhere else, the other one gets destroyed or some shit. Like get creative with your classes, but at least it's a bit of a good change.
I mean, I'd rather just start with more ammo because especially playing
Yeah.
a scout, you're or whatever they call it, recon. More often than not, I'm going to be pretty far away from ammo. So when I'm out of ammo, it's pretty much over. I have to switch to a fucking pistol and run across the map to get ammo.
Yeah.
They're also
considering,
considering having players
consider-
begin fights with a one-use health pouch to keep things moving.
which
That's
is like
fine.
whatever.
I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't start with one, especially since the regenerating health is less than it was in
You
previous
don't even
games.
really get very many options to heal yourself in combat. Maybe if you're like way far away from enemies taking pot shots at people and you get hit in the body or something, or a sniper connects to your chest, you can get behind something and heal. But when you're on the ground running around on a map and you get in a firefight, there's no time to heal. You shoot one guy, the guy behind him kills. That's
Yeah,
just
pretty
how
much.
it works.
Yeah, but again, they want to, encourage people to build shit.
Yeah, which is fine. I get it.
It's not
They
as
want to
bad as
make it
Fortnite
they
building,
want to
so
make it a
that's
building
something.
game. Fortnite's popular, man.
Yeah, too bad it sucks.
I don't like this change though, the player visibility. I don't like this one.
I mean, I don't know what it's going to look like, but I mean, I kind of agree. It's kind of hard to fucking see people at distance.
But it
Again,
should be.
playing
It's supposed
recon.
to be. It's Battlefield's always kind of been closer to a war simulator than an arcade game. Call of Duty's been more of an arcade deathmatch style game where you can pop out enemies real quickly from the background because the background and the foreground are so much different. But Battlefield's supposed to be more like war, where people wearing camouflage and shit, and it's difficult to see. And I just don't like the idea of this. As somebody that plays recon often, and I don't like the idea of just people having an easier time seeing, especially like in Battlefield. There's a lot of times where you got to run out in the open to get to cover. Like now you're just going to be easy as fuck to spot. It's already pretty easy to see people. I don't know. I
I
don't
think people
see.
just aren't used to it. If you haven't played Battlefield in the past, then yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm coming from Fortnite, and wow, it's hard to fucking see people in Battlefield 5. Change that.
Yeah, they're wearing camouflage, man.
Yeah.
Like, what's the problem? It was never a problem in Battlefield 1 where you had forest maps with people wearing green and brown. Uh,
Yeah, well, you
you,
could also spot people, which, I mean, I don't know if I'm really a fan of the new spotting system compared to the old one, because, like, in real life, you'd be able to, like, go to your buddy sitting next to you and point and be like, look, he's right there, right? And it's easier to communicate
well, that's
that. But it's,
essentially what you're doing now. I've never been a fan of the old spotting system. That's why I played on hardcore servers because you don't know when you're spotted, and you basically have this fucking triangle above your head telling people exactly where you are, even to a degree that sometimes when you get behind cover, that you can still see that mark for a period of time. I never liked that because I don't know when I'm marked, so I have no idea about it. Like certainly, I'm not asking to be for it to be known when I've been seen because you wouldn't know that in real life either. But I like the new system because it's more like what you said. You point, he's over there, and your friend might look and not see exactly what you saw, right? Because if I point at something, how many times have you pointed at something and somebody's like, "Where?" and they're looking off in like random fucking directions, like you're pointing right in front of them, and they look behind them like idiots.
well, I mean, that's the problem I always had in PUBG. It's like, 27, you know? And I'm like,
Yeah,
okay, well, 27 for me isn't 27 for you. What the fuck is
yeah,
going on? And you're dead.
exactly. And, and I think Battlefield and specifically Battlefield and Rainbow Six Siege handle this. There's buttons you can press that put a virtual marker wherever your crosshair was. I mean, you're going to run into problems where like you hit a tree and it doesn't, exactly point. You need to be able to update that marker quicker. You need to be able to spam it a little bit more. Uh, I think there you can spam it in Rainbow Six, and people don't really take advantage of it. You need to be able to spam it, and you just need to have a system where if I mute somebody, I don't see their markers anymore. That way, if somebody's being a spamming asshole in a match, I can just fucking mute them. I don't see their markers anymore. It doesn't matter that they're spamming.
Yeah.
Because I like that kind of system. Not
Ooh.
enough games have that kind of system. I always thought PUBG needed to have a system like that where you hit like a button and it throws a digital marker where your crosshairs are at and your friends can see it based off their position.
It's just
Because
tougher to actually get it accurate because, like, if you think of someone, like, really far away and they're, like, on the top of a hill and they're really small, and you can't get your crosshair exactly on them and you hit the spot button, it could end up 100 yards in front or behind or, something.
yeah, I mean, it should certainly gravitate towards a target a little bit more. Like there should be a bubble around you where it's a thing.
Well, I
And
don't think this change is going to be too significant.
yeah, I don't think so either.
I mean,
Hopefully not.
plus, I mean, anyone who takes this game super serial turns their fucking graphic settings down anyway, so they're probably not even seeing that haze that they're talking about. Because that's what they're talking about basically, is making the haze, what is it, more or less? Clear separation between the background and the foreground is necessary. To help with this, distance haze is being added to let character models stand out better.
Yeah, so what that means is there's going to be distance haze. So the further out on the map, there's going to be like a little hazy fogginess to it, and the players won't be like you'll be able to see them against that haze.
Well, depending on how far away it is,
Pretty rough.
it might just be a buff to recon, which they actually need because even if you do see them at that range, they're pretty hard to hit, and even if you hit them, they're not going to die. So,
this next change is pretty good though. I like this one.
less waiting, more killing.
Less waiting, more killing. Bleed out times sped up. That was really a problem when you wanted to bleed out. You had to just sit there for quite a bit holding the button down. They're also making a revive icon like polished so squad mates can see it better. I don't know
they need to fix it because I don't know if it's a fix or if it's but they need to at least explain what's going on with the revive system.
They gave us an old version of the game, so I don't even know if it was fixed or not, like if it was just a bug, but I think people are just still not going to pick people up because people are selfish, and picking somebody up puts you in danger.
I mean, the problem is you don't know if you can be revived or not. There are definitely situations, I'm sure you've seen it, where you got a teammate laying on the ground and you can't help them. But they don't know that. They're sitting there calling out to you, delaying their bleed out time.
Yeah, that's a bug.
All right, and then this last thing, time to kill and time to death stats are being optimized too, using kill data from the open beta. Dice has seen which weapons are statistically overpowered. So
Also,
changes will be made so the
of the
time
four
it takes
weapons.
to kill up opponents and the time that players remain alive feels better. I mean, what do you mean feels better? To who?
Well, I
Is
like higher
being
time. I
alive?
like shorter times to kill
It
in
doesn't
any
say shorter time to
situation.
kill though. So I don't know which
It
way they're
says
going to go
changes
here.
will be made to the time it takes to kill opponents.
Yeah, longer or shorter.
Well,
And they
yeah,
just
that's
say
true.
it's going to the time that players remain
The
alive
problem I
feels
have with
better.
this, the problem I have with this is they only had 4 guns per class. What the fuck? Like what?
Well, yeah, but the
Whatever.
thing is like, here's what I think they're trying to do. If they don't put more weapons in the game, which would be a huge disappointment, you could buy the same gun multiple times, right? So if there's a gun you really like, you buy it once and pick one talent tree. This is the one that's good for running gun, and then there's another. You buy the gun again, you pick the other talent tree. This one's good for sitting still and just camping out. That's fucking stupid. I think you just be able, just like other Battlefield games, you change the attachments if you want different shit. One gun, different attachments.
Well, at least they're doing the important things and focusing on the profanity filter too and making that better. That's super important.
Again, what's better for them?
Profanity filter. We got to work on the profanity filter.
Just
What are you
fucking have an
talking
option
about?
to turn it
Grow
off.
the fuck up. Off and on. That's all you need.
It's a game where you're fucking murdering
Jesus
people, and
Christ.
it's
You're
like
murdering people
no
as
profanity.
a Nazi. You play as a Nazi and kill black people in this game. Okay?
And whammon.
And
I mean,
women.
and white males too, but
And Chinese people. Chinese women. It's so fucking ridiculous. Like, people are so stupid. God, profanity filters have always pissed me off. You got companies like Blizzard who are like, oh, there's a profanity filter, but we're still going to hit you up if you cuss and use the profanity. What the fuck? Can we just grow up as people and be fucking adults? All right? If you don't like
apparently
profanity,
not.
fuck you. How about that? Like, comment, and subscribe.
So yeah, that's pretty much everything that's been going on with Battlefield 5. Some changes are good, some changes not so good, some unknown, some are just really vague. Time to kill is going to feel better. I think it feels too long, so does better mean they're going to die faster? Or are they going to appeal to the casuals? I mean, I'm a casual when it comes to Battlefield 5, but I mean people coming from Fortnite, PUBG. Well, hey, this has a BR mode. Let's give that a
Seems
shot.
like they're going to nerf them. Like, this is the actual EA. You can follow the link at the bottom of that page, but IGN's fucking terrible apparently because on the actual blog they talk about they specifically say some weapon types are pretty much exactly where we like them, but others stand out in their power. So what that translates to, they're going to nerf some guns.
Great. If they nerf my semi-auto sniper, I'll be pissed. I don't see any reason for that to be any weaker. 2 or 3 shots, depending on where you hit them.
They're gonna
Only
do a
has 5
netcode
bullets
pass.
per mag.
That's
Their
good.
netcode's always usually fine. The biggest
Well,
problem
they said
is
how fast it feels to be killed on the battlefield. We've looked at the open beta's netcode telemetry and latency. There are some fixes still to be made here, and we'll do a full netcode pass and look at aspects such as your enemy's bullets.
I mean, I don't have any problem with any of their server stuff. I mean,
Remember
I know
when
it's a
Blizzard-
beta, but the earlier games were fine. They know how to fucking make a server that
Remember when
can support
Blizzard came
64
out
people.
and like explained to people like they didn't know about how hitboxes and lag works.
Favor the shooter.
Oh God, we made that up. We invented it.
Wait, so you're telling me if I kill someone on my screen that they
There's
should be
some bad
dead?
stuff they didn't even talk about in the IGN article. More vehicle types coming. Is this all the? Come on, man. They keep saying, okay, so they say in the open beta, players got to pilot the medium tanks and heavy tanks in their grand operations and conquest. If you thought the selection was slim, don't worry. The full game will feature many more exciting. Yeah, we know, because you only gave us a sliver of the fucking game, assholes. Why don't you put the whole thing out there so people can get an experience of it?
They didn't say anything about
don't
how
have to
many
answer these
vehicles,
fucking
though.
questions. Yeah,
I don't give a shit the variety that people get to choose from. I give a shit about how many you're allowed to get per round.
They're gonna have tiger tanks and shit. God damn it.
They said you'll be able to target different parts of the tank, so hey, That's moving in the right direction. Still not good enough.
Yeah.
How about if I put one fucking stick of dynamite? If I manage to run straight up on a tank and throw some dynamite on the treads, that's enough.
Just if you want to make an easy living, just go write for like a fucking gaming journal. Just go be a gaming journalist. You don't have to fucking play video games anymore. You just do journalism. This is like this big fucking thing where gaming journalists on websites these days don't even play games. They're like fucking fresh out of journalism fucking school or whatever, their college degree in journalism, and they're just fucking going to game development companies because it's so easy to get jobs in these. They didn't even write about this extended systemic vehicle damage coming. They didn't even write about this in that article. Systemic damage has existed in some form since Battlefield 3, and you saw some, but not all of the system in the Battlefield 5 open beta. If you're unfamiliar with the concept, the idea is that you don't have to completely destroy a vehicle to defend against them. You can take out parts of them. The open beta features systemic damage on the vehicle tracks, but it wasn't implemented for turrets and engines. One thing we didn't like with partially destroyed tanks in previous titles was that although the tank pilot could survive, he or she were sort of stranded, unable to move or shoot back. In Battlefield 5, you'll feel less dead in the water in these types of situations. If, for instance, your left track is damaged, you won't be completely disabled, but you'll limp along. Overall, we wanted the systemic damage states to give players meaningful tactical choices. If an infantry player is going up against a tank, might, for example, want to attack the turret first. So that's cool. I didn't know you could attack turrets and disable them.
You couldn't in the beta.
I know you couldn't in the beta, but I mean, that's cool that they talked about it in this fucking article. Better spotting for pilots. Well, that's stupid.
Well, I don't know how that's going to pan out. I mean, I know, but I didn't fucking die once to an airplane as infantry in Battlefield 5.
And
so that was good.
But they're already talking about changing that.
But I don't know. I don't.
That fighter planes weren't as agile.
No, I don't know if that's because we couldn't be spotted or if.
Well, they're saying right here
just because they couldn't shoot that. Because I mean, there's stuff that happened in Battlefield 5 that never happened in Battlefield 1. Battlefield 1, a plane could like fly directly at the fucking ground, shooting cannons, right, and then just pull up at the very end. But in Battlefield 5,
that's what they're talking about here.
In Battlefield 5,
we saw concerns that fighter planes weren't as agile as expected, and that they couldn't engage with ground targets as easy as before. Like, are they gonna? So they're saying
how bad is it gonna be?
Not yet where we want them to be, so we'll keep adjusting them. No, leave them where they're at. They shouldn't be able to just dive at the fucking ground and blow people out of the way. Like planes, you want to kill people on the ground, get in a goddamn bomber, okay? The other planes are meant to fucking take out bombers and other planes. This shit where people get into fighter planes and attack people on the ground is fucking dumb. That's movie nonsense. Never in fucking World War II were people fucking shooting at people on the ground with their fucking guns in a plane.
I mean, you can, but it's more but it's not reliable. Suppressing fire. It keeps the other team running. Exactly. It's not supposed to like, oh, I'm hiding behind a rock, and all of a sudden this fucking airplane's coming directly at me. Fuck that.
Like you have an option as somebody that's doing like deploying of war forces. You have two options. You can deploy a fighter pilot and say, hey, I want you to strafe this fucking trench that they got and put all your bullets in there. Now he's got to fly this plane and be super accurate and try to land those bullets in the trench while risking small arms fire and heavy machine gun fire up at him at the same time, because back then planes were made out of fucking light ass aluminum.
They're still made out of aluminum.
Well, especially these. Like these planes couldn't last with getting a couple hits. They're not fighter jets to just scream by and you barely get a chance to even see them. Like flak cannons, even like a heavy machine gun that somebody might have would just destroy an airplane in a couple seconds, because you get a couple shots to the fuselage, you're not going to be continuing to do your strafes. You're going to RT fucking B, and you could shoot a pilot out of a plane easily. It wasn't like armor. Like you shoot at a plane in Battlefield and it's like tat, 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 tat. Hey, look, I hit the plane, and the pilot's like, I'm fine. Yeah, no, that's not how it works. Those bullets go through, penetrate him, and kill him. That's how it's supposed to happen. But they don't do that because that would be too easy. So instead, they have to make a decision on not allowing them to do that, because in a real war situation, you wouldn't have your fighters strafing. You'd send in bombers that could be at higher altitudes. They could drop fucking bombs in those fucking trenches, and it doesn't matter if you don't hit the trench directly, because it's going to be a fucking bomb.
Yeah,
it's like.
But I mean, that's because people don't want to play. They bitch about realism when it comes to women soldiers with bionic arms. But then at the same time, they just want to hop in an airplane, do nothing but hop in an airplane and run fucking 70-2 for the match.
Yeah.
And be like, I'm the best. I mean, I see it all the time in Battlefield 1. Because it tells you everyone's rank up to rank 50 for every class. And there's people that just rank 50 pilots, but they're only level 90 something out of 150. Put that in perspective. I'm level 92 out of 150 in Battlefield 1. I'm level 50 scout, level 0 tank, level 0 pilot, and about a level 12 to 15 of the other 3 infantry classes. And that's with over probably 220 hours playtime. So these people that are level 90 something or lower as like rank 50 pilot, that's all they do for the most part.
Yeah.
It's like, why, if that's all you want to do, why even playing Battlefield? It's such a small part of the game. I mean, is it all about getting that score? If it's not fun?
Like I can understand, oh, there's a fucking guy in an airplane and he's giving us trouble. I'm gonna jump in an airplane and take him down. But just spending the entire match in an airplane, these kind of people that, God, it really fucking irks me. These kind of people that sit there on the spawn screen waiting for the airplane to spawn, just clicking it as fast as they can. Like this, it just takes me back to Battlefield 4 where I saw this guy streaming on Twitch and he's like got a stick and all this shit. He's wearing like gloves and shit, and he's just sitting there waiting for the helicopter. And he's played the helicopter so much that he's got all these dumb little things where he like lands on people to kill them and stupid shit like that. And it's just fucking lame, man. Like, get the fuck out of here with that shit. I'm an expert fucking helicopter pilot. Yeah, that didn't exist in You know what you can't do in real life? You can't land on people and kill them in a goddamn helicopter. Okay? Can't do that. Also,
I mean, you could, but
you know
how many
have to
fucking
be bullets
landing on a deaf person?
An Apache helicopter, okay, is designed to do a sortie run. They're designed to go out in the to fuel up. They're called into a situation. They're designed to get up and go quickly, get to the location, hit them with some Hellfire missiles, spray them with some fucking rounds, and go. They're not meant to be on the battlefield for hours just flying around with infinite fucking ammo. That's what I'd like to see, is the requirement to return to fucking base to fuel up and weapon up in a goddamn vehicle. That's what I'd like to see. Your tank goes out with, instead of an infinite fucking tank rounds that you can just keep shooting at. Maybe then people will be more, more precise with their attacks instead of just shelling a building for like 15 fucking minutes. Like, how many times you sit in a building and it's just bam, 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 and it's just over and over. Like, how many fucking shells does this guy have? Give him a certain.
All of them.
You want to focus on ammo in this fucking game? How about you give ammo to the fucking vehicles and require them to go back to base and get more ammo? Or a fucking engineer can come over with a specific upgrade that only allows vehicle weapons to refuel. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, there's way better solutions, but again, I don't know if it's the developer or the community, but
it's always the community.
I just want to play cheesy. I just want to be the cheesy asshole who uses vehicles the whole fucking time.
Cheesy. I don't want a challenge. I want to punch babies. That's what they want. Not me.
But I mean, that's also one of the good things about Battlefield. Is like, if I want to go in there and just snipe because I like sniping, or if I just want to play infantry because I don't like vehicles, it doesn't really matter if you win or lose, because it's just fun to play. You can ignore chat. People don't bitch that much. If they do, you can ignore them, and you don't get fucking reported for being toxic, picking the wrong class. Overwatch.
Yeah.
Sorry, I coughed in the middle of that. Not sure if you heard what I said. Overwatch. So yeah, it's got potential. It's probably going to be a rusty start, just like every Battlefield is. And eventually it'll turn into a pretty good game.
Yeah.
And we also tried Black Ops 4, the Blackout beta. Needs some work, but already the best BR game out there.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. I'm excited for it. I don't even really like I don't necessarily like BR games. Like, one of the things I like deathmatch, but the problem I have with deathmatch games, and even like Battlefield, which is technically a deathmatch, is, you're fighting some guys ahead of you, and then some dude gets in a plane and flies past everybody and jumps out, and then he comes running up behind, and he thinks, I don't know what's going through his fucking mind. Like, he's going to be the hero and kill everybody. Is that really what he thinks? He's going to kill everybody. He gets in there and he's just surrounded by enemies. He maybe kills one or two guys. And
it's more effective than you might think because
it's annoying.
No one fucking turns around.
Well, he ends up dying eventually and doesn't really achieve anything because it's not, it's this mentality that just doesn't work. It's one of the reasons why I don't play a lot of deathmatch games in Call of Duty. I was never drawn to Call of Duty because I don't like just existing on a map and having to worry about 360 degrees of direction at all times. Like, hey, there's a guy I just killed. He spawned to my back left, and I don't know that he spawned there, and now he's killing me because he spawned behind me. I don't see any skill in that. I don't see any skill in that whatsoever. I can understand the monotony of it, like how it's just fun to just go around killing people. Absolutely, I get that. But I like objectives. I like games like Overwatch where there's an objective. There's a clear battle line drawn.
Well, that's why I like playing. If I do play Call of Duty, which I don't play very often, I really like Modern Warfare, the first one, and I played Ghosts. But other than that, I haven't really played any. Mostly because they don't ever fucking go on sale. Black Ops 2 is still $60, but whatever.
Right. And that's something we have to talk about with this BR game.
Well, hold on. Let me finish this thought real quick because you were talking about objectives. Domination is a really good mode. It's like a small version of Conquest in Call of Duty. It's like the second most popular game mode after Team Deathmatch.
Yeah, I mean,
and there's 3 points and
added things, but I was just
so at least it gives where people are running towards. It gives everyone kind of direction instead of just running around aimlessly.
Call of Duty. I've never done the Call of Duty thing. I was never into it, and that's when it first came out, it was deathmatch, and I understand they've added stuff, but I've never been driven to go play a Call of Duty with the bros.
It gets a bad rap, but I mean,
they're
pretty
good
games.
I understand that flanking's a thing. Flying in a plane behind 15 people is not flanking. Flanking is moving around to the side and giving with a large enough force to where the enemy team now has to focus on 2 fronts. That's the point of flanking. Now in Overwatch, that does mean 1 person because it's a 6v6 situation. So you're not going to be able to take a large portion of people to another flank, and it does the job because you have characters with abilities who can get out of danger if they start getting killed. So they're achieving the job of flanking. In Battlefield, 1 person doesn't work. You might get 1 or 2 kills and annoy somebody, but you're effectively typically it's you kill 1 person and then they kill 1 person and then they die. So it's just a fucking trade. And then that person respawns right back in the same place you were. And
you lost an airplane.
And this guy lost an airplane. He spawns farther away, so he wasted travel time. And it's stupid. BR games remove that concept because BR games do something that video games have always needed, and that's in most video games you have concepts like 6v6 and it's survival. So as soon as you die, you're done. You can't get back up. That's fun. That's fun in Overwatch. It's one of the funnest modes in Overwatch is when you're doing like a 2v2 or 3v3, and when you die, you're done. You can't get back up. Now, of course, Overwatch has all these abilities and shit that makes there's a balance problem there, but in Battlefield you die quickly. So you take a game like Battlefield and put that in a BR situation, suddenly you're way more careful with how you move. Now you might see people who stream and they just run out in the open and then they die a lot. And yeah, it does make people want to bunker down and shit, but that's realistic. In an actual war scenario, people are gonna bunker down because they don't want to die.
Yeah, nothing makes me more satisfied than sniping someone from cover that they and then they're just like, camper. Like, yeah, I'm a fucking sniper. Yeah. Like, what do you expect?
Yeah. Not only that, but you're dead and I'm alive. What are you talking about? You just basically you're just saying I suck. That's what you're saying. I suck. You might as well just say that. I suck.
And it would be true.
Yeah. Now, and that's what I like about BR games. Unfortunately, every fucking BR game has been some kind of shitty fucking, either some kind of stupid Fortnite gimmick where it's like, how do we compete against PUBG? Well, let's make it cartoony so kids buy it because that's the era we live in now.
And free to play and to build shit, so you don't even have to be good at shooting.
So, Minecraft's popular, right? And then with PUBG, it's like made by Koreans who can't even fucking figure out net code.
Yeah. Side note, they're actually giving the Xbox One X version of PUBG a visual downgrade because the performance is such shit. Believe that?
And of course,
on the most powerful
H1Z1 had
console.
performance issues as well because it was being made by a fucking company who doesn't know what they're doing when it comes to that kind of shit. So we've just been waiting for a AAA developer to do something. Now, obviously, Battlefield has their own battle royale called Firestorm, a 64 player. So, it's pretty much what they've already been doing, except you have one life to live now.
Yeah, and there are objectives that'll give you like gun upgrades and stuff.
Yeah,
Found that
that's
out.
cool. That's cool. I'm okay with adding things or changing things. I don't just want a AAA developer to make PUBG. I want a better version. This is what I like. But so far, I haven't played Battlefields because theirs isn't out. But I have played, Call of Duties, and I'm not necessarily a fan of Call of Duty. But man, I love their BR game because they have drones in it. They have rocket launchers in it. They have crazy cool shit like Fortnite does, but they don't have stupid little building shit where, just take building out of Fortnite and I won't hate it as much. I hate the fact that there's a guy out in the open. He's misplaced. Like he has put himself in a bad position. I have cover. He doesn't. I start unloading on him. He just does a 360 and builds a fortress. It's stupid. It's so dumb. Now I have to go engage him in like, what's the point? Now I have to go fucking engage him with a shotgun or some shit. It's dumb.
Well, and the unfortunate part is now that's trickling into other games. First, you had like Overwatch with the high time to kill, and then you had Fortnite, and now in the new Call of Duty, you have like 50% more health or something. Time to kill has been raised. Time to kill has been raised in Battlefield 5.
Yeah, they need to get rid of the armor, and people have been.
Well, I mean, people just bitch because, like you said, they just want to fucking do crazy shit and be the hero, and they end up dying, and like, I die too fast. It's like, yeah, like people make the argument that with a high time to kill, you get to react to getting shot if you're out of position, so it's better. It's like, but to me, that's worse. If you're out of position, you deserve to die. That's why I fucking die so much.
Yeah. You did that's the thing. Like if somebody catches you with your pants down, they should have an advantage on you.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be trying to actively work against that. What's the fucking point? You might as well just, if that's the case, you might as well just drop us in a fucking house against each other with no walls, no cover, and we're just facing each other, and it's a goddamn cowboy duel. Like, what's the fucking point?
Yeah. I mean, there's two solutions in that. You can either kind of do what I do because I don't really have the patience to like learn positioning.
Let me just put this in equivalency so people out there with small brains can understand. Let's imagine you're playing a game like World of Warcraft, and maybe you've never played World of Warcraft before. There's a class called the Rogue. The Rogue has a stealth ability that makes them invisible until they get too close to you from the front. Okay, but that doesn't matter because most of the time rogues get the jump on you. And that's the whole point of stealth, is that they get the jump on you. Now imagine you're playing a rogue and your whole class is based around stealth, and you wear leather, and you have less health than a warrior, for example. I'm going back to vanilla here just for basics. We're not talking about all the stupid changes Blizzard's made. Vanilla rogue, you have less health than a warrior, for example, but you can get the jump on him with stealth. He doesn't know you're there, so you get a surprise attack on him, and he's not ready for it, so he might make some panicky decisions. Now let's imagine in that same fucking scenario, you open up on him, and as soon as you attack him, you get stunned for 5 seconds so he can react. How fucking stupid is that?
Yeah,
that's
pretty fucking
stupid. Okay? It applies here as well. If you're out in a field and you didn't check your corner, you didn't make sure that you're in the open, you didn't, you're taking a chance by running across a field and somebody starts shooting at you, what are you talking about? You should fucking have a chance to react.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the risk. Like, usually, there's two strategies. If you want to get from point A to point B, you can circle around slowly and hope that you don't come across someone, or maybe you will get the jump on someone, or you could try to minimize the time that you're out in the open and just fucking sprint from point A to point B. One's riskier and faster, and one's slower and safer, but you shouldn't be able to pick the riskier thing and be like, oh, okay. But what I was saying is that, there's really two ways to deal with something like that with a low time to kill. Either you get good, which by I mean, you just kind of push through it with raw skill and hope that the person shooting you can't shoot as well as you can, and spin and try to kill them before they kill you.
Yeah.
Or you be smarter about it. Now, I'm
And
really
listen,
bad with positioning and remembering maps and stuff, so most of the time I end up just relying on the fact that I'm better than most people.
If you're out in the middle of a field and there's a guy on a fucking building and he's behind cover and you didn't see him and he starts shooting at you and every hit and you're zigzagging and every hit is connecting, he's better than you. He's hitting his shots. He deserves to kill you. It's not like some rando is just spraying and getting lucky. That's not what's happening. He's making his shots count. He's aiming ahead of you, and he's hitting you, and he's adjusting properly and shit like that. He deserves to do the damage to you because he's capable. Okay? You fucked up, my dude. The guy that was sitting on the roof wasn't some pleb that can't make his shots count. You fucked up. I've ran out in the open before and had somebody shoot at me and miss almost every shot, and I survived because of it and killed him. And he suffered because he wasn't capable of taking the shots and should have known that his skill was inadequate and waited and closed distance in on me. Instead, he took the chance and I knew of his location. But I've had people, I've been out in the open and they just put me down in a couple hits. Those guys deserved it.
Yeah, and that's pretty much my only problem with the Black Ops 4 beta is there are times when like I see someone running around a house, he doesn't see me. I move up a little bit, but my gun has good range. And I hit the guy like 7 times and they don't fucking die. And then they spin around and have a fucking sniper and shoot.
The time to kill is an issue. There's 3 levels of armor, which is just stupid.
Which they are changing, but they're not changing it in the right way. Rare. Yeah, well, I mean, that could still change.
The right way, absolutely.
But yeah, all that means is that the people that actually find that level 3 armor that reduces fucking bullet damage by like 65% are going to be the ones that make it to the end.
Just don't have armor. Because the other solution is everybody gets the same armor. It's just one type of armor, and then it's all over the place. In which case, I would just say, don't fucking have armor. Just don't have armor. Stop with the armor in PUBG games, in Battle Royale games. Stop. Stop with the armor. Okay? Fortnite doesn't do it. You don't need it. Stop.
Well, they do shields.
They do shields. I guess that's technically armor. Just stop with the armor. Okay? Guns and equipment. Like, Call of Duty has so many things right. Just take out the armor, please. Jesus Christ.
I mean, look, you want to do armor the right way. You ever see, like, even in the movies don't even exaggerate this so much. When someone gets shot in the chest in a movie and they have body armor on, they aren't just fine. It still feels like you got shot, right? Like, it fucking hurts like hell. So, armor should be good for, like, moving from position to position under fire. You might survive. But in a firefight, if you get shot and you're wearing armor, it should, like, do something. Completely fuck up your aim, your vision, something. But it doesn't. And that, I mean, that's also another thing about, I don't know if this is just Call of Duty in general or if it's just this beta that we played, but there's like no hit reaction. Like when you shoot someone in Battlefield, it feels juicy, you know? Here it's not. It doesn't even, it's hard to tell if you're even shooting someone. And,
well, Battlefield has the same problem. You hit somebody and it doesn't seem like they slow down at all.
Well, I mean, I'm just from a visual standpoint, you know? Like, yeah, they can still get shot 3 times and then be fine.
I don't think we're going to get the perfect game, unfortunately.
No, we're not. But Call of Duty has the hit markers, and for some reason, those hit markers are, like, way too distracting. Like, I didn't
They're
really
way
seem...
too big, yeah.
I didn't seem to have a problem in earlier Call of Duty games, but this one, it's like, especially at range... Like, yeah, you could tell that you hit someone, but then I can't see where they're moving to. If they're taking cover, I got to wait for that hit marker to go away. So I just turned them off. And once you turn them off and that you don't have that giant hit marker covering the person when you hit them, it's really hard to tell if you're actually hitting them or not.
Yeah,
blood only spurts out, like, 1 out of 4 times.
It's crazy. It's almost like they could just do a sound cue.
That's what they should do. Keep the hit marker sound.
It needs to be an option. It needs to be, because there are people that have hearing problems and shit. Whatever, I don't know why they play a battle royale game where sound is important. I don't know how many times I got jumps on people because I could hear them sprinting around, but like all they need to do is make it to where you can change the opacity on that as much as you want, all the way. Instead of turn on and off, it needs to be an opacity meter that goes from 100% to 0%. You can turn it down to like all I need is a little ghost fleck of like 20% opacity, and I'll be able to.
And I mean, I don't even have a problem with it in Battlefield, so I don't know what it is about.
Well, in Battlefield, you can change the color of it. You can
well,
change
yeah,
the
but I change the color. I don't change the opacity.
Opacity is pretty low. I think they already have like by default low opacity on it.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but for some reason it really bothered me.
But I really like this game. It felt really fun. I love the speed of it. I like the speed of it. I don't like the slowness of PUBG. I like the speed of Fortnite. I don't like the slowness of PUBG. This one's got like double the speed of Fortnite. I like that there's a glider you can reopen whenever you fucking want.
Yeah, I still haven't figured out how to do that.
Well, we didn't get to play it that much. I like that there's fucking
That's when my
drones
internet
in the
went out.
game. I like that there's different types of grenades. Like the flash grenade works really fucking well. And you can tell when somebody's flashed, they got their fucking hand up in their face, you know? Like it's not like was he flashed? I don't know. He was just, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, most flash grenades, it's like you get a quick flash and then your vision almost immediately starts coming back. And once you're used to it, you can kind of, filter out the bullshit and still kind of see.
Also just keeps
this one's like a good 5
too.
seconds of like the last thing you saw is frozen on your screen.
Oh yeah, it looks really good too. Like when I flashed myself, the last thing I did in that game was flash myself and lose a 2v2, a 2v1.
And you can't see shit.
You can't see shit. I thought it would throw farther, but it doesn't. It like throws in the air and then starts popping. And I stepped into it, like it was going off, and I just stepped to the side of it. I wasn't even like right on top of it. And then I like stepped into the bubble effect, and it was just over from there. It's just like every time it would pop, my screen would freeze in a different type of like light and some shit that I could see. I could even see the guy in the bottom right corner of my screen. It looked like he was standing in front of me, but it was the bottom right corner of my he was probably in front of me, but it was like all the way in the bottom right corner of my screen, and I could see him as I started to die. But I couldn't see him enough to aim at him or anything like that because the rest of my screen was flashing and shit. And it was really good, and I've used the flash on people and seen them put their hands up in their face, and I've killed them from it, and it's great. And they have all these other types of grenades and shit. They have these like stems that you can take that increase your healing and shit.
Yeah, they have a pretty cool.
All really good.
They have a recon like remote control car, which I mean,
yeah,
sounds cool, but you're also
like
just your actual character is just fucking vulnerable as shit. Same problem I have
but
with.
Can you imagine that in the final circle, and you're in a house, and the other guy's in a house, and you get this little drone bomb car? Like that's gonna be so fucking great, man. I love stuff like that. I wouldn't call it a gimmick. It's more like, I mean, it's technically a gimmick. It's their version of building shit by having some cool stuff in there. I like that there's rocket launchers in the game.
Well, I mean, it's stuff that it's not the gimmick like Fortnite's building is the gimmick. Fortnite has all these gadgets and shit too.
That's true. And the gadget parts of Fortnite is the gadget part of Fortnite is what's fun in that game. I think it's really kind of cool. I don't like the cartooniness of it. This another thing that I love about Black Ops 4 here is that it looks good. The only problem with this game is it is probably going to be a $60 BR game, which
it comes with all those other modes too.
That's not good though. Yeah, but that's not good. Like I feel like they need to separate the BR mode and do a free-to-play system with cosmetics. That's if they want to compete against Fortnite.
Well, that's the thing. They don't need to compete against Fortnite. This is fucking Call of Duty. It's like one of the biggest franchises of all time. So
you're right about that.
You want the good shit, you pay for the good shit.
This is less of me worrying about them competing and more of me wanting Fortnite to die. I want this game to become the game. Because
that would be nice. Because I'm fucking tired of hearing about Fortnite and shit.
I want to be able to stream this game and not fucking Fortnite. But everybody that's played it, streamers included, fucking love it. The game was polished. I didn't see any kind of... And the biggest thing for me was I shot at a guy and he fucking took damage. It wasn't some shit where I shot an entire clip at a dude or magazine and no damage happened. It was great. And, we came into that game. We won our first game. I felt like a god in that game, man. Like I came in and like, Jesus Christ, people would come through windows and, I'm really good at positioning and knowing that like, I'm not the best at aiming. I'm better at positioning, but God, like you would run up a fucking, I remember there was a segment where we went into a building and there was a guy across from us and he came to the building and shot him through the window. Then his teammate comes around and I just switched to the shotgun and 2-tap his ass and he goes down. Fucking heal up. I love the healing system in the game. It's quick. It's efficient. You got different types. You can have.
You never starve for gear either.
Yeah, you never starve for gear. You go in and get a gun immediately, and it's not like some shitty pistol. Now, granted, it does take some, and I'll get on the time to kill in a second after I go through this, and then we run up the hill after that, and the circle's closing in, and there's 2 guys to the right, and they see you, and I'm standing behind you purposefully because. I don't want to move up that quickly yet.
Like, hey, he might die. He might take out one of them and then die. But either way, I'm back here.
I got this tree cover, and you say you spot these guys, and they take you down. And I just move to the right and take down his team. I missed so many shots on his teammate, but his teammate's bad too. And I take him down. These guys were fucking terrible, by the way. They must have like team shot you because I shoot my entire magazine at this guy and miss like half the shots because of the way he's moving. And it was just one of those moments where the whole game I had been on point, tracking people really well, and I just had that one encounter where my tracking was completely off, and he was going one way, I was going the other way, and then his teammate does this weird thing with a shotgun where he pushes up on me, and I'm trying to get a heal off. I get the heal barely, like just one heal. I switch to my shotgun, and he moves up on me, and I just blast him once, but he hits me once, and then he does this weird thing where like, I don't know, man. I guess it was just he was excited to play a video game because he jumps past me and then turns his back to me, sprinting away in a zigzag pattern. And then he turns around to shoot me, and I just blast him, and he dies. And that shotgun, that was a pump shotgun, by the way. And God, it felt good. It wasn't a one-shot kill. It was like a two-tap. I'm sure if there was armor involved, it was probably more or something. I don't know. Maybe they were wearing armor. It all felt really good. And the time, when it comes to the time to kill, all I have to say is like, aside from the armor, because I know the armor is going to add like a lot of fucking, like, I don't know how many people with tier 3 armor we ran into.
I didn't find it once.
I've seen what it looks like. It looks like ballistic type shit, ballistic helmet, ballistic vest type shit. Like, I don't know how much that's going to change, but I can say that I did notice the time to kill was different on guns based off the caliber of bullet specifically. And that's great because PUBG did that stupid shit where it's like, it's the same caliber of bullet, but it does less damage. Well, that's not how that works. Yeah. Most of the time I had 9mm weapons like SMGs and shit, and they did pretty good. They killed people. It'd take about almost an entire magazine to kill people, but the time to kill was maybe like a second and a half.
Oh man, the only light machine gun that was in the game was that Titan. That thing is a fucking beast, man. There were people who would like shoot me as I'm running behind cover, and I just sit there, heal, and behind cover, and then I'm like, where are they? I poke out, I see where they're shooting from. Like, it's a fucking laser beam.
Yeah, it's man. And when you get, and there's not a ton of bullet drop, which is great. It's not like some, like PUBG does arbitrary bullet drop that doesn't exist. Like, bullet drop starts happening after like 200, 300 meters, man. Not like sniper rifles are the only time you're going to really have to worry about bullet drop unless you're trying to shoot somebody with a machine gun from that range. You know, like most encounters, a machine gun. What am I, 15? Most encounters,
fully automatic assault machine gun.
Most encounters with an assault rifle is supposed to be short to medium range. In a long range engagement, you effectively want a sniper rifle or to disengage. Sniper rifles are really the only thing you should be feeling bullet drop on, and it shouldn't be super significant unless you're shooting like 700, 800 meters. You know, that's really 600 to 900 meters is like where bullet drop should really be a thing you have to worry about. In this game, I never felt like I needed to like aim high or something like that.
You also never got a sniper rifle. I got it once. I found one sniper off a dead body and died 10 seconds later.
You don't need sniper rifles in this game. You move so fast. I feel like snipers are weaker in this game. And that's good because battle royale games tend to suffer a little bit from sniper rifle like dick jerking. You know, it's like you're out in the field and there's a guy 900 meters away just popping at you with a Kar 98. That's like typical shit. And I'm glad that it's more close range to medium range encounters because that's fun. It's like taking a death match and putting it on a big map and then saying you get one life to live. Better fucking play smart. And I did notice that when I pick up a weapon, just like you said with the machine gun, the heavy machine gun, it's like when I got a 5.56 weapon, it felt great. I killed people way faster, and the guns are kind of futuristic too. That's what's great about it. It's not like
they got to change some of the inventory systems. Like if there's a better gun on the ground that I want, you got to go to your menu, you got to unequip all the attachments, drop the gun, pick up the new gun, add all the attachments back.
Yeah, they need to work on that, obviously.
And I mean, that whole system, I mean, that's kind of what you would actually need to do in any other BR game or in real life, I guess. But there's just got to be a way to do it faster. There's got to be a button for, like, strip weapon, you know?
Yeah, I agree. And, you know, it's their first time doing a UI like that, so I'm giving them the benefit of a doubt there.
Well, they said they're going to change it, so we'll see. But that comes out before Battlefield, so, you know,
that's what we're playing.
It's been a rough month or two. We're still in the middle of it, but that's why today's episode is entitled "Darkest Before the Dawn" because this is the dark time. The dawn is coming. We got fucking Battlefield, Black Ops, Resident Evil. What the fuck else were we gonna play?
We're
There
doing
was a
horror month.
horror month, yeah. So it's about to get
Anthem
good.
in February.
Anthem
Maybe
in
Division
February.
2. Oh god, man, it's gonna be so good. Oh, and then eventually Destiny will go on sale for like $5 for all their shit, and we'll play that
I
again.
just hope we don't have enough time to play it, and we don't have to make that decision.
I agree with you.
Right, because right now you're in that drought
I
where you're
hope
like,
we
man,
get-
I could really go for Destiny because WoW
Right, yeah,
sucks so
that's,
much.
that's how bad the drought is with that. We're like, Destiny. I really hope Anthem comes out and it's like, I'm never fucking touching Destiny again. Are you kidding me? Fuck that game. By the way, Battlefield 5, their changes didn't really, to me, seem like something that warranted being pushed back to November, but whatever. That seems like little balance changes.
Hey, if they fix the fucking visual bugs and all that shit. Oh, that was the one thing I wanted to talk about in Battlefield 5 real quick. With their netcode not being so bad in the final version of their games, what people were really bitching about was with the recon, or I guess anyone when you're trying to shoot long range.
Yeah.
You would just kind of see people floating around at a distance. It's like once
Oh,
they get
yeah,
a
yeah,
certain
that was-
distance
that was-
away, they just
I still
like
think
started
that's 'cause
cutting
they
corners.
gave us a shittier version of the game.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that they were going to fix too.
Nintendo doesn't understand
Nintendo.
how clouds work.
Yeah, Nintendo, don't ever let your subscriptions expire.
What is this subscription? First of all, I don't even know what this is. Is this like a PlayStation Plus type thing that they're doing?
No, it's just
Like
for online play.
So you have
and
to
their
subscribe to
service.
play online like you do for Xbox.
Yeah,
or
and they're claiming that it's
PlayStation.
because they want to start competing with all these paid services and stuff.
Well, they want money, is what they want.
Yeah, but that's not what they said.
Well, of course, that's not what they said, but I mean, wouldn't it be nice to live in a world where Nintendo comes out and it's like, we want money, so you got to pay for online play now. And here's a real question: why would you play online on Nintendo?
Smash Brothers. I mean, that's probably the only reason.
Fuck Smash Brothers. If
Yeah,
you're
well,
gonna
yeah,
play
I'm right there
this-
with you. Fuck Smash Brothers, but apparently it's like this whole
One of
thing.
the worst fucking fighting games in existence. I said it. That's right. That's my opinion. Fuck you. I don't care.
Yeah, no,
It's
like the
terrible.
first one was
Hey,
fun.
You want to play a
but
fighting game where you knock people out of the fucking arena? Wow,
like
that's
1,000
the
times,
focus.
and they just fucking triple jump right back in.
Yeah.
Oh
Hey,
wait,
he gets knocked again.
How much damage-
He's off the screen, but he's okay.
How
'Cause
much
the screen's
damage-
not the boundary. It's some arbitrary fucking thing way off the screen. Like,
the thing I never got was like, how much damage do you have on you right now? 570%. Like, you don't know how percentages work.
yeah. You're going to increase 570% damage. What? It's so
Fucking weird.
stupid.
So yeah, anyway, we never actually got to the point of that. So basically, if you sign up for this cloud subscription service and your save games get put on the cloud and your subscription expires, all those save games are gone.
The
Data
data is
deleted.
deleted. The cloud save data.
Yeah.
Specifically the cloud save
That
data.
moment you realize that the cloud is just someone else's PC.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have room for all this.
And this is an example of what's wrong with Nintendo, and people suck Nintendo's dick so fucking much.
Oh yeah, then they
They're
come
one
out
of
and
the
say, we want to
worst
change the
companies.
paradigm. We don't like this game model. We're going to do something different, and then it's
people
the same
sucked their
shit.
dick when they sold cardboard to you. Now you're gonna suck their dick over cloud saves. Is that what you're gonna do? I can't wait for people to justify this. Well, Nintendo, you really don't need that cloud data once you unsubscribe, man. What do you mean? Companies. It's a standard for companies to give you cloud saves at no additional cost, as it is right now. Okay, Steam gives it to you, no additional cost. This is just complete fucking corporate greed. And big surprise, the most greedy fucking corporations are always the ones that everybody heralds as the hero corporations. Google, Facebook, Twitter, Nintendo. They're always the greediest fucking companies. Meanwhile, everybody's like, EA's terrible. And they're over here actually trying to do shit for fucking player bases. Granted, they don't have any good communication services.
Look, this is what it comes down to, especially with the loot box situation. Like, if a company comes out and they're like, hey, we're going to try this loot box thing, right? And everyone hates it and no one buys it, and they're like, hey, this is losing us money. They stop
Exactly.
doing it.
They stop
But there
doing
are
it.
enough people buying loot boxes that it's worth, continuing that model. And so what's the problem? This fucking small minority that's bitching about, consumer rights and shit. It's like no one is fucking forcing you to buy loot boxes.
Yeah, and
I don't even remember the last time
well,
that it was pay to win.
People that have gambling.
That's
problems.
not their problem. That's person's problem.
Let's nuke Las Vegas, I guess, because that preys on people that have gambling problems. They have the option of going there and gambling. Also, we have to ban dice because some people in certain areas of the country use it to gamble with. It's a fucking and dominoes.
We need to regulate
cards.
The sale of dice
regulate
and
cards. It's so stupid. Like, you know what pisses me off? People constantly regurgitate, well, it's a small vocal minority, and then people just throw that shit out the window when it's their fucking idea. It's a small vocal minority. Hey, I don't like loot boxes. Yeah, everybody agrees. I've heard actual YouTubers say that shit. Like, listen, I like the quartering, but he's an anti-loot box guy, and he's like, most people don't like loot boxes. No, you're wrong. Most people do. You are in a vocal minority. It's always a vocal minority. Always. Look at the election. Trump won the election, and the vocal minority was saying that it was not going to happen. It looked like Trump was a joke and not going to get elected. Where was the vocal minority being all loud about Trump? It wasn't, because it was a majority. That's why he won. Okay? The majority it's a silent majority, vocal minority. Always and forever. Because the people who don't like something are always in the minority. If you go play World of Warcraft and you don't like it, you're in a minority. We sit here all the time and say people don't like it. It's a minority of people. Most people playing World of Warcraft like taking a dick up the ass, okay? They love it. They play the game, and that's what they want. They love the grind. They want the grind. Look at people playing Destiny now. Look at all the people left in Destiny. All the people with complaints, the vocal minority left, and the people still there are the ones that love the grind, right? And Destiny's doing fine.
Yeah, I mean, at first they were like, "Hey, we don't like that,
all
the roles are fixed. We want random roles." And then you fucking go to World of Warcraft, and it's like, well, it's too hard to get gear. It's too random with this Azerite shit. It's like, maybe you just don't like video games,
Yeah, and I'm not saying that it's good or bad in any degree. Like, obviously,
it depends on the game.
We have problems with Destiny, and we're passionate about it because we liked the game and we wanted it to be something, and it became something else. They pandered to a different audience, so we left. That's how it works. We didn't try to get the government involved to change Destiny, okay? Fuck off. How about that? That's what you do. If you don't like it, you can complain about it all you want. Complain to the developers. Say they're idiots. I'll agree with you if I happen to have that opinion. But I'm not. What the fuck are you talking about? Trying to get the government involved? Are you fucking stupid? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and it never ends well.
So game developers will start lobbying the fucking government. That's what we want.
Yeah, you think Blizzard is out there like, oh man, but we really need those fucking people in Belgium buying our shit. What a damper on our income.
But you know
they
what?
Don't.
Blizzard
you just don't get fucking loot boxes anymore.
You know what Blizzard will do? They'll go to a consulting agency to figure out how to deal with it, and that consulting agency will say, "Well, this is what other corporations do. What you want to do is hire somebody that's going to go to the Belgian government, and he's going to talk with with government officials there, and you can bribe them with money to get them to sway the vote in your favor. How do you bribe them with money? With campaign contribution." Say Blizzard will provide campaign contributions.
Did I say bribing? I meant lobbying.
I meant lobbying.
Legal
it's not bribing. It's lobbying. Legal
version of lobbying.
And congratulations, you just made game developers lobby the government. And now the government is like, now you have a complete opposite effect to where now the government is like allowing fucking paid loot boxes and shit like that, like all across the board. Like, you just listen, man, we live in a capitalist society. I know some of you kids out there don't believe in it, but it works. Okay, it's worked for hundreds of years. If you don't like it, don't buy it. Okay, you know why McDonald's is at the top of the fucking food chain? Ironically, at the top of the fucking food chain. Okay, it's not a pun. They're at the top of the food chain in fast food because they did things people like. They made cheap menus that people could afford, and they made food that tastes delicious. Where's fucking White Castle, right? White Castle is so praised, but where is it? Why is it not successful? As successful as McDonald's?
I honestly don't know, because those things are fucking delicious.
They're delicious, but people don't want them versus McDonald's. It's just the way it is. People, you have to vote with your wallet.
Well, there's also a lot of things that McDonald's does too. I don't want to get off on a giant tangent on fast food, but I mean, they got the fucking Happy Meals and the characters and shit.
Yeah, they're doing shit right. They're doing shit that people want. Marketing to kids properly. They're marketing to other people, like people that can't afford food. They do the dollar menu or for the longest time. Like these are all things that they did correctly because they want money, not because they're evil fucking people. They want money. That's the business. The business for them is making money, and they do that by selling food.
Like, so I know that people, there's a lot of principled people out there. You know, if you don't eat McDonald's, that's fine. No one's forcing you to eat McDonald's. But being like, McDonald's is unhealthy. You should start, you should change your whole fucking business model around healthy food. It's like, yeah, but no one wants a fucking $12 cheeseburger. So if that were the case, if they were able to make the same amount of money and also like have healthier food, that's what they'd be doing. But you're not complaining about McDonald's at that point. You're complaining about the people who buy McDonald's, and you're never going to change their fucking mind because they either don't give a shit or they just fucking like how McDonald's tastes.
It's the same with loot boxes. You don't have a problem with loot boxes. You have a problem with the people that buy loot boxes.
Yeah, because if they didn't buy the loot boxes, there wouldn't be loot boxes.
The problem is you want the shit in Overwatch to be easily accessible. You don't want to have to buy loot boxes and random roll loot boxes. I feel you, okay, but it ain't gonna happen.
Hey, everyone loves instant gratification. These are the things I want, and I don't want to have to work for them. I want all these skins now, and I don't want to have to play the game to get them or spend money to get them. Well, tough titties.
The best thing you can do is move on and spend your money elsewhere. That's the best thing you can do. Literally,
that's what we've done.
If you have a problem with World of Warcraft right now and you wanted to change, the best thing you can do is unsubscribe. Because that's the shit that tells companies shit. I've always told people, you think McDonald's is a problem? Stop eating there. It will go away. The government's not going to get rid of McDonald's. People will get rid of McDonald's. And Burger King used to be really popular. It's not so popular anymore. Okay? Look at In-N-Out, right? Everybody had this controversy over In-N-Out. It just drove up sales. That's all it did. Like, the politics.
Put your money where your mouth is.
Put your money where your mouth is. Absolutely. These sayings have existed for a long time because people smarter than you have lived and died before you and figured it out. You're not the hero. You're not here figuring it out. Okay. There are other problems to solve. They've already solved those problems. You're trying to solve problems that have already been solved with stupid decisions. I'm sorry. Let's move on. Fortnite, some bullshit about divorce, right?
Yeah. So they made this a big deal. It's not that big of a deal.
It's not a big deal. People get divorced.
Over 200 divorce things in the UK have been cited as Fortnite being the cause.
Whatever. Yeah. Let me tell you something. Fortnite has nothing to do with that. I want to show me the statistics. I'll show you the statistics on fucking divorces for World of Warcraft. The problem has nothing to do with the game. It's the person that decided.
Well, first of all, 200 divorces. Wow, whoop-de-doo. It's not a big number, but it was still funny to me. But yeah, I mean, first of all, you're with the wrong person. I play a lot of fucking video games. I got a wife that supports me. You're with the wrong person. Absolutely. Hey, and let me just say this real quick about the number thing that you mentioned. Every time there's a number like that, people only cite the number if it's befitting, and they'll cite percentages if it's befitting. If there's like 1,000 people and 100 of those people get killed, they'll say 10%. 10%. They won't say 100 out of 1,000. But if there's like millions of people playing Fortnite, and there's some of them got divorced, they'll say 200 instead of like 0.x%. They don't even say the number in the title. It just says Fortnite keeps being brought up in divorces. And then you have to click on it to see the number. And it's 200. They don't tell you. They don't tell you how many divorces there were. That's 200 divorces out of how many? No one knows.
That is absolutely, Seeker is right on that. It's not the game, it's the person. If you're with somebody who would leave you because you play a video game too much, you're with the wrong person.
And also, I mean, if you've ever been in a relationship, you got to make some sacrifices, right? Like, you got to make time.
Sure.
But at the same time, like, my wife wants me to be happy. Video games make me happy. So she wants me to play them because otherwise I'm a miserable piece of shit.
So what you said about the sacrifices, certainly if you fall in love with somebody, sometimes you make sacrifices.
I shouldn't even say compromises.
Compromises. You certainly make compromises because when you fall in love with somebody, it's not like you plan it. You don't go to a club and there's 100 women and you pick from 100. It's like one of those women will be interested in you, and that's kind of what you get with, right? Because you build something off of that. But here's the thing. Like, when you meet somebody and unless they're like totally lying about who they are, like that's who you're with. This idea that you're going to change them or it's going to be different later on is just ridiculous. Like if you hook up with a woman that wants to go like out all the time, and she hooks up with you and you don't want to go out all the time, and you guys can't make compromises for each other to some kind of equative degree, you either have to say, well, listen, I love this person enough to where I don't need them to go out with me all the time, or I don't need them to stay home with me all the time, or you have to make compromises and be like, we go back and forth. Then you just need to go. You just need to leave that person, because there's two things you can do with another person. This is just kind of philosophical morals here. People are adults. You don't own them. Getting married to them doesn't mean you own them. So you can stay or you can fuck off. That's how it works with adults. Okay. Yeah. I see too many people get married and they act like they own that person, and they act like, I can't believe he's not doing what I said, or I can't believe she's not doing what I said. Like, what?
Yeah. I mean, I kind of, I got lucky that my wife has a different work schedule, so I'm not really sacrificing time with her to play video games. It's like when I get home from work, but I mean, like I take Sunday and Saturday off, I cut into that time a little bit now for the podcast, but like she's working right now. And Monday I take off because she has off, but there's usually one day a week where she has off and I'm still streaming. And you know what happens? She cooks me dinner.
It's a great thing we got going with the China Twitch thing, right?
Yeah, Twitch is blocked in China. I mean, it's only a matter of time.
China blocks everything, man. It's called communism. That's why you don't want it in the United States. I know people think it sounds great, like, hey, everybody's taken care of and the government takes care of the poor people and the people that are homeless and everybody's equal, and I don't have to go to work. I get a paycheck just for sitting home and playing video games until the money runs out. But another thing you have to deal with is the government just strong-arming you and saying, oh, well, that country like America that makes a lot of cool shit, because they're not communist, yeah, you can't do that anymore. Like they blocked World of Warcraft in China for the longest time until World of Warcraft. They blocked
console gaming forever. Blizzard, that was just Blizzard the last 3 or 4 years where you can own a console.
Blizzard was forced to go over and do art passes on the game because they're not allowed to show like bones protruding out of undead and shit like that. That's the kind of power that communism gives to a government. And people can say, well, it's not being done right. It's never been done right, and it'll never be done right, because absolute power corrupts, man. You can't give that much power to people. And this is evidence of it. Twitch is blocked in China. Why? Because people need to be protected. This is the concept. When you give the government the idea that they need to protect everybody, this is what happens.
Ironically, Google is also blocked in China. So how does that feel?
Well, that's because you can Google, Tiananmen Square. They don't want that.
Yeah, well, yeah, but still, like the way things are going, and all these companies trying to censor and manipulate information so that more people see certain shit.
And a lot of this is corruption.
They themselves are being blocked.
The government doesn't get a piece of this pie, and they don't like it. And they're also competing with the United States, and they don't like the idea of Chinese dollars going to the United States in this way, because that's effectively what's happening. Now, if you don't know what I mean, like, look at every fucking game name me one good game that comes out of China. One good game developer. Yeah,
sure.
You see, all that China makes is those knockoffs. When you think of something Chinese, it's like a fucking ad that you get on your phone, and it's got like a World of Warcraft fucking character on it, and it's some fucking game that some guy made in his basement, right? And they don't abide by any kind of law on copyright and shit, so Blizzard can't do anything about it. And then you play it, and it's like this shitty fucking mobile game that wouldn't even pass for a mobile game. Like, nothing good comes out of communism, man. Look at Russia. There's documentaries on Russia where people, like, they talk about how they have to go to work, but they don't even get paid because they have to keep up the charade on the they're expected to keep up the charade on the global scale. It's fucking terrible. Keep away from it. This is not some right-wing conspiracy shit. China has blocked Twitch. Okay, why? Because they don't get any of that fucking money, and they don't want their money.
Awfully greedy for a communist country,
Pretty greedy it's ironic, isn't it? It's really weird. In communist countries, you get leaders at the top that stay there forever. Vladimir Putin. And they have all... Look at Kim Jong-un. He's fat in a country that has people starving. Okay?
Well, that could be genetics.
I'm just saying, like, it's fucking crazy. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
That's what you get. Anyways, I gotta go house hunting.
No, that sounds like fun. Did you already make the offer? Is that how you got into this?
I'm probably gonna have to wait until after October because the wife has to go to India for like 3 weeks.
That's probably what's keeping me from going after any sort of promotion at that fucking place. Like, well, yeah, I would love to make more money.
I just do that with her job. They're just, I don't know. I think they're vetting her. I think they're setting her up for like a higher position. Like she had to go meet a higher up recently. That was like, why is her boss not doing that?
Yeah, well, that's fine. It's just I keep an eye on the internal job openings there, and a lot of them are like travel up to 35%. Like, nope.
Well, see, there you go, people, right there. See, this is how you know America's not racist. Asian people have the drive to do it. White people don't, and Asian people succeed.
There you go.
There you go. Closing thoughts.
Still not officially a citizen. I mean, because it's getting harder for some reason.
Well, we got a year.
Not saying that in a bad way. I'm just pointing out the irony there. That
yeah, the irony. Yeah. All right.
That's all we got. So I'm Seeker127. You can find me on Twitch Tuesday through Saturday, starting at 6 p.m. usually. And I'm on Twitter, Seeker127 Gaming. Keep an eye out for a name change. It could happen at any time.
Probably announce it on the podcast, too, when it does happen.
Yeah.
And, of course, I'm the Gabller. You can find me on @TGGabler on Twitter over there, where I follow a bunch of random Arabic people who followed me. And I don't know why. But, hey, I got a lot of blue check marks following me, so I'm kind of important. And if you want to follow, just follow. I don't tweet shit, though, so that's cool. And you can find me on twitch.tv/thegabler when I decide to stream, which is sometimes because I'm trying to get into like game development. It's a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing you might have heard of where they make games.
I don't even have a name for the company. I don't even have a name. I don't even have a name for like the development studio or whatever it's going to be. Whatever. Maybe I'll get Monty helping me out.
Can't be worse than From Software.
Can't be worse. From Software. Maybe I'll do something like that, something like that. From games. All right, well.
So yeah, this is the Electronic Gaming Mostly podcast. Unless there's a hurricane, we upload each and every Sunday. Now with over 40 downloads. Holy shit. Look at us go.
I'm hyped.
Second biggest podcast in the world. Welcome.
Second to Joe Rogan. Come at me.
Yeah.
I'll be on your show, Joe Rogan, but I can't come to California.
Kevin Smith, if you're out there and you're serious about making dreams come true, just one tweet. Man, it'll take you 10 seconds. Just tweet this motherfucker. Make it happen.
Love you.
All right. We'll see you next week, everyone. Thanks for listening.
I think